The truth is that van life kind of ruined me for normal life. I never really thought about it when I got started living in my car and then jumping into a van. I just wanted some freedom and to try something different. And then over the years, I just got used to it. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the pros and the cons of leaving van life and kind of what my plans are moving forward. So hello Snack Pack, welcome back to Travel Snacks. Also, if this is your first time coming on to Travel Snacks, why aren't you part of the family? We're almost at 100,000 subscribers, so you could start becoming part of the family now, and you could say that you were here before we got to 100,000 snack packers. So keep watching, and if you like the video, hit the subscribe button. And you might as well throw a like on it. Like I said, when I got started living in my car, I was just basically doing it because I was sick of the job I had, and I was just sick of sitting in one place, and I've always had this kind of feeling of wanting to wander, and that sounds so like mug or wall hanging, like I want to wander, wanderlust. I don't know if everybody has that in them or if it's just certain people, but I definitely have had that. Don't want to stay in one place for very long. When I was a kid, my parents moved us around quite a bit. We were in a lot of different houses. We weren't, like, even though my dad was in the military, during that time he wasn't in the military. I think we just moved, I don't know why, for just different reasons. And I don't know if that contributed to me kind of always wanting to try new things or be in different areas. Even if I love the place that I'm living in, I'm like, what's out there? What's next? It finally kind of came to a head when my boys moved out, and I was like, I'm just gonna try some new things and start traveling. Now we're several years out from that, and I've seen a lot of things. I've been to many states, been to several countries, and I hit a wall, which if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that I've had my wall hitting moments and my struggles in van life, but I just hit a wall where I felt like God was telling me to get somewhere and sit down. Like I just kept hearing that over and over, just get somewhere and sit down, like stop, because I was really in a bad mental health space and a really bad just depression, and it just wasn't good. Now I've been off the road for a couple of years now, which seems crazy to me, but those couple years have felt like a blur. It's almost like I stopped doing van life just a couple months ago. I am just like, what the heck? But I've needed this time to really kind of work on my mental health, my regular health. But there's definitely been some pros and cons to life after van life. One of the biggest pros is having a soft place to land. Because when you are out in those streets, and if you want a break, you either need to maybe get a campground, an Airbnb, or a hotel. And those things can be costly, especially if you're just living off of basic income or means. If you're a nomad that just like does side jobs, or even if you do YouTube and you're not making the most, those things add up. So it's not just an easy thing to decide to be like, you know, and I'm going to take a break and just get off the road. And sometimes a week or a month is not enough. At the end of the day, I ended up getting my own apartment, and it's been great in a lot of ways, but it's coming up on a year and a half being here, and it's hitting me in also some different ways. Knowing I have somewhere to come back to, though, really makes a big difference. But with that comes rules. When you're renting an apartment, you follow the rules there. When you live in a vehicle, you follow your own rules. With those rules, though, even though you get to make all the decisions, you have to make all the decisions. It is a trade-off. For example, when I moved to this apartment complex, I wanted to just sign a year lease. They're like, we don't even offer 12 months. You have to do 14 months. That makes me feel very constricted. Like I don't have a way to just be done when I'm done. And the apartment termination fee is very high, so it is what it is. Another thing is getting this apartment. I have a lot more comforts, obviously. I have AC, which is probably one of the biggest things that I missed living in a vehicle. I think that's probably, of all the things that ruined me on the road, was summers and the heat. I'm outside in like 90 degrees right now and it's sweaty, but I know I'm going to be going back into my apartment to get some AC. So mentally, it's okay. Also, you know, unlimited running water, unlimited showers. You don't have to plan for every single thing. So there's a lot of good things, but I also, on the flip side, I've noticed that I don't try as hard. I don't problem solve as much. And I miss that growth in my life. I miss those challenges of kind of being not in trouble, but just being in a situation where I have to think, I have to figure things out. I have to figure out how to fix something, or where to go and how to find this, or what to do in my day. Being off the road has made me way more lazy. If we're having a mini nature confessional here, it's really pulled me away from my Bible. I've pulled myself away from my Bible. I can't just say that this lifestyle has. In my van, I woke up every morning and was excited about reading my Bible. It was the start of my day. With my little coffee, my Bible time, I had the freedom to be in my Bible for as long as I want. Now, I have a job. I get up and I'm like, oh, I gotta get to work. And it's really been kind of a bummer because I've slipped away from that. I have noticed that it just hasn't been a priority. I think it all goes hand in hand, you know, having that freedom to do whatever. This is such a muddy area right here. I don't want to slip. Gross. Should have had my shoe covers. Oh, gross. Okay, great. My shoes are muddy now. Okay, I'm almost out of the mud. But even like this, like I'm out on just a regular walking, hiking little trail in this little nature park. And it's so pretty. It's that feeling of being able to get lost, not really thinking about it. Like I know I could just go back into my van and just drive around, go to a parking lot, go to a different area if I want to. Now I'm like, okay, after this, I'm gonna just go home. It's not inspiring. Let's see. Cool, you know, I know it seems so basic and simple, but just seeing little pool of water in the middle of nature, I don't know. If you're anything like me, it just, I don't know, it does something to me. It just makes me feel closer to God in a sense. And hearing birds and all these things, I don't want to get too frou-frou and all this, but I don't know. And I'm kind of on a slightly unmarked trail, but you know, still marked a little bit. And oh, nope, there's some bramble and trees that's going to prevent me from going further on this little unmarked trail. So let's go back to the main trail. Comfort kills growth. It feels so good and cozy to just flop on the couch, turn on Netflix, waste my mind of just doing nothing, and then I'm ready to go to bed and I'm like, dang, I didn't do anything at all to like broaden my life horizons, and that doesn't feel great. The other thing that happened since I moved into an apartment is somehow I've accumulated so much more clutter because I have a place to ship things, where on the road you have to really think about, where am I going to ship this? How am I going to, do I have enough room in my van? A year and a half into living here, and I'm like, how did you accumulate so much stuff? Now don't get me wrong, I'm not like a hoarder, I don't have the most, but I have more than I would like. So now I'm in a decluttering phase, so I've basically wasted money. And that kind of leads me to another thing, is being off the road and moving into a more traditional lifestyle. It's a little bit more financially secure. I have income coming in, but I'm spending a lot more. All these things cost money. Rent costs money, electricity costs money, all these things. You know, when I had my van, I just had gas, you know, to fill up my van, which was very expensive. But I was super frugal and I made my money stretch. So that's a pro and a con. Having a place to settle, you would think that it would be so much easier because you'd have a lot more time to build with friends and family. And I have, but not in the way that I thought, because making friends as an adult is hard. It's difficult, and I'm a person that goes after things and tries things, and I've still struggled to make community here. I've met a few people, but Texas is so big. Also, it's hot and sweaty. Texas is so big that all the events and all the people I meet, they all live like 45 minutes to an hour away. It's not close by. And I was like, oh, I'm so used to driving. But when you live in a van and you're already driving, it's one thing. But if you live somewhere and you need to leave and go there and then go all the way back, that's where you start to think, dang, if I had my van, I could just go to the thing, go to the event, stay there, just find a place to sleep. And I miss that. I do miss my van. I miss it a lot. But the pro of not having my van is, I think that was like maybe number 2 of the thing that was the most stressful, is repairs and things that would break on the van, and constantly trying to figure out, how am I going to fix this on the road? Who's going to help me? Do I have to do them myself? Like, it's not like a car where you could just go to any mechanic. There's certain things that you would need to find someone that knows how to work on vans, van parts, solar systems, lithium batteries, fans, all these things. And that's not readily available every single place you go. You have to really search for that, and you don't want to spend the most money also. I'd say one of the biggest downfalls of life after van life is the extreme boredom that I feel a lot of times. When I was traveling in my van or even in my car, I'd pull up at night to somewhere to sleep, and I'd wake up in a new place every day. It was interesting. I would see so many different things. I would see weird things. I would see crazy things. Get out in the fresh air in the morning, like at 5 a.m. and just be like, take it all in. Like, now I'm in my apartment all the time. I am bored. It's like sucking the life out of me, honestly. And I've just not hit that place in my life to just settle in and give up. And I've also learned, which I've mentioned before, but I've also learned that I'm not a suburban person. I am either a city girl or a beach girl. Really, if you sum those two things up, I need to be in a walkable area, seeing other human beings. That's why living in van life the way I did it was traveling in different cities and seeing different attractions, and I would always see other people at stores, at Planet Fitness, on walking trails. And now I go out of my apartment and it's just nobody. I'm just not a small town girl. Now, give me like a log cabin or a tent or like something cool, a yurt like in the middle of nowhere for a weekend or two, cool. But on a consistent daily basis, I'm not that kind of person. I need to see humans. And even though I'm more of an introvert, I like my alone time, I still feel like I need human interaction to survive and to thrive and to feel happy and creative. This living out in the small town suburbia, the creativity is bleak. I have ideas every day, I write them down, but I just have no motivation to do it because I just don't, there's nothing really around me that makes it exciting. So if you are in a van and you're considering taking a break, really consider where you want to live and really try to figure out the type of person you are and the way you thrive best, the living style you thrive in best. Now I have my SUV, and as you saw in my last video, I'm kind of slowly making like a kind of like a little build where I can sleep in it and maybe have a few things where I could go on shorter trips, which it will not be in the summer out on the streets. It's just no, it's a no for me. Even if you go to higher elevations, if you just go north, like all the things, maybe there's people that have, you know, solved this problem, but for me, I did not love that. It was like the worst. Van life ruined me in a way that's like a trauma bond, where there was a lot of things that was very stressful, but it bonded me to being a nomad. It's like my brain won't stop considering that lifestyle. Editing Allie here. When I say trauma bond, I'm not trying to make light of traumatic experiences, but for anyone that's lived on the road, there is a bit of trauma, PTSD, that you will experience in some form or another, whether it's getting the knock and being startled, constantly being on high alert, maybe something does happen that's bad, maybe you've had a traumatic experience with a breakdown on the side of the road, or you know, your van kind of goes into a ditch, you get lost. I mean, there's so many different things that I experienced, things I've talked to my nomadic friends that they've experienced, even just the fact of not even knowing where you belong in the world. There's lots of things that really messes with you mentally. So when I say trauma bond, it is real. I'm not diagnosing anything. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but it does have remnants of that sort of thing. So when you have a vehicle that's gotten you through those times, it is sort of like a bond with that vehicle or that experience, that it is kind of like bonding with that lifestyle in a sense. So you love it, you hate it, you want it, you don't want it, and it's all wrapped up into one. Life is not black and white. There's lots of gray going on here. When you start living a traditional life, it's hard to unravel yourself from it. So for those of you that have been thinking about being a nomad, getting a van, traveling, I get it, because it's not as easy to just jump in and do it. There's things to consider, especially if you have a job. Not that you can't do it, because you certainly can. I totally believe that you have all the resources you need, even if it takes a while to save some money or whatever. If it's in your heart, you should do it, and you'll figure it out. You'll find a way. Talk to some people, ask for help. I have some things planned. I know I keep saying that, but even now my car is in the shop again, my brand new car. So I can't really build out my car at this point. Hold please. If my experience can be any help to you, try it as a part-time nomad. The key is somewhere in the middle, the best of both worlds. Traveling when it's cool, because you can always stay warm on the road. It's harder to stay cool on the road. Getting out there, living your best life, trying all the things, but then having somewhere to land afterwards. And that may not be as easy because that costs money in both directions. But if you plan it right, you can do it. It's very fulfilling. Let's see, which way do I go? Which way do I go? So life after van life is not so cut and dry. I know I have that nomadic spirit within me, but what about you? Is that something that you've thought of doing? Is that a place in your heart where you're like, oh, I do want to do more. I want to travel. It doesn't have to be in a van. It could be just more traveling, or maybe giving up your place for a while and just living just on the road. And if you have wanted to do that, what's stopping you? Is it money? Is it time? Is it fear? Is it someone else in your life that's telling you not to? What is it? I would love to know. Drop it in the comments. We could talk about it. You can go on YouTube right now and search quitting van life, and you'll see a plethora of videos about I quit van life, why I quit van life, why van life sucks, why I can't do this anymore. I've made videos like that. Most YouTubers that do van life or car life or any nomad life has probably made this type of video. It's an easy video to make because you will get views. I'm just keeping it a buck. And it's real. I believe I would place 5,000 fake dollars that every nomad YouTuber will hit this wall and they will be like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I just can't do it. But I don't really see a lot of videos saying life after van life, unless it's somebody that's bought a tiny home or is living off grid or doing something equally as different, like an alternative lifestyle type vibe. You don't really see a lot of people that quit van life and then live a traditional life talking about what it's like after that. Not to say that I'm special for making this video, but I think there's a lot of people that do stop van life that aren't even on YouTube, and it's like it's kind of hard because once you live this lifestyle, you don't have a lot of people to talk to about it because not everybody's living in a vehicle. It's okay if you have stopped being a nomad for a while and you're just out there living like a normal life. When I got off the road, I told some of my friends, I'm like, I just feel so normal. And they're like, what do you mean you're normal? You're like a normal person. I'm like, in my head, you know, everything is mental. Like everything, you create stories in your head. But all the time I was living in my van, I was like, I'm an explorer, I'm an adventurer, I'm so free, blah, blah, blah. And then when I stopped, my mentality was like, oh, you're just like a regular person. You've kind of given up. And, you know, I didn't feel like special or different. And that might sound some type of way, but I think we all want to feel special. We all want to feel wanted and needed and have something to talk about. Maybe that didn't make sense, but for me, it just felt different. And now I just feel I've settled in my life, which I can't stand for. I'm not going to do it. I need to try new things, but I will say that it, for a time, was definitely what I needed. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I don't know if I'll ever get another van again. If I do, I'll definitely make some changes next time around. I think there's still a lot more adventure in me. But today I don't have a van, so any future trips that's going to be kind of nomadic-y is going to be either flights, trains, or living in this SUV. Or not this one, because this is a rental, or this is a loaner, but you know what I'm saying. So until next time, bye for now. You're gonna say, well, Allison, this looks what? I mean, you will along the way when you're doing what am I trying to say? This is so hot and sweaty. Van life ruined me a little bit, and that's that.